Everybody in. All right. Today we're gonna be talking about listing strategies. May spend a little time going through the exclusive right to sell. Got some seasoned agents on here. Got some new agents. Have some affiliate members. So for my more seasoned agents, I definitely want you all to share your experiences as I go through some of the tips and strategies and things that I pulled up. This typically is one that we typically get a lot of. We get a lot of I guess what's the word I'm looking for? Engagement, involvement, things like that. So it's that's exciting. All right. So with that being said, man, let me do this. Yeah, there we go. All right. All right. So before we get started, man, I just kind of want to go around and give everybody an opportunity. We'll do an introduction, how long you've been in real estate, and one fun fact about yourself. That's what we'll do before we get started, because some of y'all may not even know who is who. So that's why I like doing this during our trainings. So we'll start off with Miss Jamie. Jamie, why don't you go ahead, introduce yourself, how long you been in real estate, one fun fact about yourself.
Hi, everybody. My name is Jamie Huger Wall. I been in real estate for like about 2 years, and one fun fact. I like to fly planes. I don't know.
Cool.
All right.
Sweet. All right, appreciate you sharing that with us. All right, Laquana, you're next.
Hello, I am Laquana Davis. I've been in real estate for 6 years, a little over 6 years. Fun fact about me is I know I like to fish.
Awesome. All right, thank you for sharing. All right, let's our next fisher person, Miss Kim Stubblefield. We'll let you go next.
Hi, family. Laquan, I got a big smile on my face. You said fish. I'm like, no, she hasn't gone fishing without me. We're supposed to be getting together. I apologize. I've got some technical difficulties with my camera. I'm Kim Stubblefield. I've been in the industry for 23 years. Whoop, whoop. And one fun fact about me is I am one tough mudder. Wink, wink, Laquana. Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks, Kim. Thank you for sharing. All right, Maurice, you're next, bud.
You talking to me, Mike?
Now I'm gonna get you, Marquise, but I was actually saying Maurice.
All
Maurice,
right, I was making sure it wasn't
I,
Eric.
I, I'm,
all right, go ahead and introduce yourself,
I'm
Maurice.
Maurice Flat. I'm Maurice Flat. I've been in real estate for about a year. I haven't actually scratched the surface yet. Still trying to find my niche in it to see which route I actually want to go. The fun fact is that I have my own trucking company, and that's it. I don't know can you guys hear me? I'm getting like bad reception in the area. I keep on going in and out.
It's okay. It's no worries. But we heard you, bro. You hear us?
Okay. Yeah, okay. You guys are going in and out as well.
Okay.
But it's my service area because I'm like in the boondocks right now.
I got you. I got you. Well, man, I'm glad you're on, man. It's good seeing you.
It's always a pleasure seeing you, my man.
Absolutely. All right, Marquise, your turn, brother.
How y'all doing? My name is Marquise Williams. I've been in real estate for probably about 6 months now. I take my exam prep class. I got it rescheduled for August 4th and the 5th. Then I'll be taking the exam shortly after that in August. So I'll be official.
Let's go, man.
So, and the fun fact about me is I'm one of the top amateur boxers in Houston.
Absolutely. He is, and I've seen him. I've been to one of his matches.
That's what's up. That's what's up, man.
Appreciate y'all.
Absolutely. All right, man. Well, yeah, so Marquise is one of our affiliate members, so he's in a real close to going ahead and take that exam. So we're really excited about that. All right, Miss Ellen Porter, your turn, Ellen.
Hey guys, I'm walking the dog, so sorry about that. I'm an affiliate and I need to schedule my test,
Mhm.
and I will be doing that by August. I'm gonna schedule and take a prep class. And fun fact, I also sell vacations, so I'm a travel agent, and that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ellen. Let's go, let's go. All right, another affiliate, Miss Kenyelle. It's good to see you as well. How you doing, Kenyelle?
I'm doing good. How's everybody doing today?
Doing well.
My name is Kenyelle. I've been in real estate almost, I'm gonna say maybe like 8 or 9 months now. I have a class and a half left to finish. And a fun fact about me is I love going to the gun range and hunting.
Oh, look at you. I'm scared of you, Kenyelle. Let me stay out of your way. All right, thank you for sharing that with us. All right, Miss Tammy. Tammy, your turn. It's another one of our affiliates.
Hello, everybody. How y'all doing?
Hey, Tammy.
I'm working right now,
I
but
see.
let me jump on. I'm affiliate. I'm affiliate, and I'll be graduating with my associates in December. I'm scheduling my test right now, and I did everything. I'm just waiting on Trek to tell me when I can come take my test. And fun fact about me, I like to dance. You wouldn't believe
Okay.
it if you saw me, but I like to dance. That's how I get my cardio.
Yeah, you like to cut a rug, huh? Huh, Tammy, like to
Did
get
you
on that
see,
dance.
did you see I was one of the scholarship winners for the Black Houston Association?
I
I was
did
at the
not.
gala.
Congratulations, Tammy.
I,
I didn't know.
I won, yes, I won a scholarship with them. So I was at the gala last month.
Wow. Yeah, we were out of town.
Mhm.
We were actually in Florida.
Congratulations.
So thank you.
Yeah, so we ready to get you going then. You got your too? Oh, you got you some money? Let's go, girl. You ain't
Yeah, I
got no.
just had that one. I just had that one co-op class to take, and I saved it for last. I don't know why the second one
Mhm.
with Dr. Crawford, and then I have my associate's degree in real estate.
All right, good. Well, the good thing about the co-op class, you can intern with us. So
Yes.
get those hours.
All right. I'll let
Good
him
stuff.
know. All right. Thank
Congratulations.
you. Bye-bye.
Absolutely. All right. And then one of our newest affiliate members, meaning like as of yesterday, who's just signed on and she's come on her first training, Miss Erica May. Go ahead, Erica.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Erica May. I've been in real estate for 5 years now. And a fun fact about me is I am new to Houston. So,
Erica, yes, she has. Matter of fact, Erica's already licensed in Louisiana, so she's working to get her Texas license. She just needs to take the state exam, and then she'll be ready to go. She'll be Texas and Louisiana licensed. So
yes,
excited to have you here with us, Erica.
thank you.
And then last but not least, we have Miss Shay Gardner. She's in the building. Shay, your turn.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Shay Gardner, and I've been an agent for about almost 4 years. I've been with Brooks and Davis for a little right at almost 2 years. And fun fact about me, I like writing fiction and producing music when I have time.
All
And that's
right,
it.
there we go. All right, perfect. So today we're going to be talking about listing strategies, right? And again, I want it to be a very candid discussion, but I want it to be very effective. And I really want to pull from, the people that I have that are with the training today. I really want to pull from you all's experiences. So the first thing that I want to ask is, how many people on here has actually gotten a listing and like worked a listing and got a listing sold? If you don't have your camera, then use the little hand raise icon. All right, so Shay raised her hand. All right, so we got Shay. All right, Erica, Laquana. Okay. So of the people that have gotten a listing before, I want you, if you can recall the very first time that you got a listing, and this is for, you know, those individuals that have not gotten a listing, our affiliate members, our new agents, just so they can kind of get an idea of a feel of what that experience is like. Who would like to share their first experience of getting a listing and tell us the story about it? Who wants to do that? And you can't be shy. There's no shy people in real estate. So all realtors, no realtors aren't shy. So who's gonna be the first person to share their story if they remember?
I'll go. I'll volunteer. So this
Way to
is Erica.
step up, Erica. Way to step up. Go ahead.
I actually received my first listing after being licensed for maybe 2 months. It was a referral.
Mm-hmm.
And I was nervous as I'll get out. Because of course, you know, you got to measure yourself. You got to do all that out. You're so scared.
Yeah.
But yeah, it came from a referral. And it ended up, you know, really well. The house basically sold itself.
So walk me through what you have to do. Like once you got, like, what did you have to do? Like when you say get a listing, like, did you have to go meet them? Did you do like a listing appointment? Tell them what you were going to do? Like, how did that go?
Absolutely. So I went on a listing appointment. I did give a spiel on, you know, why the owner should choose me. And she did. And basically I had to get her documentations to prove that she is who she says she is and that she's the owner of the property. So, you know, license, mortgage statement, any insurance. She had to fill out a property disclosure, of course. And, you know, I went through having pictures taken, measured the property, put it up on the market. I'm paraphrasing and moving fast, but yeah, I did give a spiel and I had to do a presentation.
So did you have a presentation? Like, did you use like slides or?
No, this was a senior, so she didn't deal with technology. So I may have had paperwork. I don't remember. It was like 5 years ago. I may have had paperwork with me, but I was basically just talking to her.
Yeah.
It was having, you know, just a conversation.
Okay. So, all right. And you were able to kind of work it. So you put the sign out there, the lockbox. What else? Like, were there a lot of showings? Did you do any open houses with it?
I don't recall doing an open house because I think within a couple of days I got an offer, but it was so low. I mean, they lowballed. And I believe we counted and they didn't want, you know, they didn't, they was just, I guess, playing the field, trying to test the water to see if we'll bite.
Yeah, like investors.
So, right, probably, I think it was. And then I think not long after that, so it didn't take that many showings, maybe 4 or 5. We went under contract, but I think it was the longest contract, not the longest ever, but it was a long contract because it was a VA loan.
Okay.
It was a VA loan.
So your very first listings, you had to deal with a VA loan buyer.
Yes, so we, you know, she wanted a certain amount of closing costs. We only could give a max of 4%. I learned that at the deal. Of course, the VA appraisal, they're very, very nitpicky about the house being in moving condition. It was an average home. It was an older home, but well kept, but it still was average. So they would just you know, the VA is very particular, more particular than FHA with the appraisal process and the house being in moving condition. So it was just nitpicky about that.
Yeah.
The borrower actually used Quicken Loans, I think, which was nothing quick about Quicken Loans. It was, you know, because it was an out-of-state lender, so it was just a long process, but
okay,
we got it done.
But you got it done and you got paid, huh? You made you some money on the deal?
Yes, absolutely. Besides helping the client, what are we doing this for?
Absolutely. All right, well, good. Well, Eric, I'm actually gonna come back to you because that was your first one. And then I want you to talk to us a little bit about what you've learned now that you've been in it 5 years and some of your the subsequent listings that you've had. Just share with us from your experiences, what you've learned and what you've gained. But I want one of our other senior agents to share with us as well, maybe their first listing experience. And I think this is good because we have new agents coming in, and I think it's good for them to see that it's not just them, because they look at us and we make it look so easy, and they need to understand we ain't start here. Like just like Erica said, look, she was nervous, she was this, and the same way for me. But Kim, looks like you want to share with us.
Sure, I'm glad to share. The perspective is a little different. I'm going to talk about one of my last listings. First of all, I work primarily as a buyer's agent, and that's kind of counterculture, to real estate. Most people say get the listing, and sit back. But I like the energy and the movement in terms of progress of working with buyers. Of course, we're in a completely different market than maybe how things were 20 years ago, and moving forward, and listings, I would say, are certainly the way to go in this aggressive seller's market. But because I've worked so many years as a buyer's agent, and have had some success with that, listings are kind of, I'm not going to say intimidating. I just have a hard time really jumping in. And frankly, every listing I've had has been a referral, a family member, extended family member, and have been, relatively easy. Definitely you want to service your client with excellence, regardless of the relationship. However, my last listing was my sister.
Okay.
And she and her husband are probably the toughest customers. As a matter of fact, I wanted to refer them to Mike. I swear, I was like, Ann, let me refer you to my broker or his wife. Our relationship is important to me.
Right.
And I don't want anything to get in the way. And she insisted. She says, no, sister, I think we can work together. And I was shaking in my boots. She would not take a referral. So I had to jump in. And the first thing she did was showed me like a photo album binder that an agent had dropped off to her and her husband in an effort to secure their business. And she wanted to know if I had anything like that. I told her no, didn't have anything like that.
Wow.
She wanted me to sit down and look at the binder. It was just everything in there that we have access to. She printed it out. I can't imagine what the cost was. And in my mind, I'm thinking, how can this agent afford to even do this?
Right.
And who's even looking at this kind of stuff today? What do you do with it? After. Anyway, they interviewed a couple of other agents. They wanted me to sit down and interview with them, and then they compared notes, and ultimately they did decide to go with me. And we listed the house, went through all, this is really probably the toughest transaction that I've had. And if I can be completely frank, I sold my sister and her husband their first townhome when they got married. And that was early in my career. And my brother-in-law was looking to build a home. And so he wanted me to forego my commission on one of the other transactions. And I was like, no, you can't do that. That's illegal. I was new.
Illegal.
I'm not breaking the law, because that's what they teach you. You can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, well, Joe over here is offering me. And I said, well, I don't know anything about that. And that home that I sold for them, they had built, and Joe got the commission on that because they did not go with me. They allowed me to sell their townhome, but in terms of the building, they went with another agent. And of course, this time around, I gave them a couple points on that listing too. I'm gonna be honest with you, I feel like they took me on that one, but it was not a loss because it's my sister and her husband, very generous family members. But to make a long story short, we got several offers. This is a really aggressive market, lovely home, well maintained, staged to perfection. We're arguing over staging elements. My sister's going toe to toe with me on property description. It's like, just tell me what you want me to write, and tell me what you want me to do.
Now, is she your older sister or younger sister?
Oh, she's my younger sister. But she's an attorney, and she thinks, that she, can argue. She feels a need to argue every element or aspect of a thing. But we had several offers, before the house even went live. And all things considered, it was a great transaction. I was even able to assist them with their purchase. Thank you, Lord. You guys might see my hashtag Super Realtor Kim. It sounds like a grand thing, and it is, but that super is that higher power that every single time steps in and gets us to the closing table. So that's a shout out to my source, the creator, hence the super. And I don't think I would be anywhere without that super element. So yeah, it was really tough with her negotiating things, and it kind of goes back to, you know, the principles of working with family members. I will probably challenge anyone that oftentimes that can be the toughest transaction. And if you can make it through those, you can pretty much make it through anyone. And my challenge is like getting out there marketing. So thank you for this, hence my logging on, just marketing for those listings.
Absolutely. So you're,
Thank you.
although they're a little intimidating for you, you want to get out there and get more of them, huh?
Yeah, I'm like that. If y'all can recall, I'm dating myself when you're playing jump rope and that rope is going and you're trying to find that jump in point and you're just rocking back and forth, and you kind of finally jump in there. You might get hit with the rope, but kind of finally figured out. Yeah. And another great element and aspect of the industry is that there's always opportunity to grow and to learn. So thank you, Mike, for your leadership.
Absolutely. Now, thank you, Kim, for your support and your loyalty and being with us. So it looks like Laquana wants to share next. Laquana, let's go ahead, share with the people.
Okay. I was sitting here thinking about one of my listings that I had. So I received one from, I believe it was realtor.com.
So that was from your, you were paying for online leads and you got a listing out of it.
Yes. I paid for buyers, but you know, they were interested in purchasing, but they needed to sell their home as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, I'm a buyer specialist, so that's my niche. So the first thing I did was to say, okay, I can help you with that. That's the first thing I'm gonna say is, of course, I can help you with that. So what I did initially was get their address and told them that I would run numbers and everything for them, but eventually I would need to be able to set up an appointment to do their walkthrough. So I could do that. So the first thing is always to set an appointment. So I got them to be able to set an appointment, got their email address, all their contact information, and I just ran the numbers on the neighborhood, got my background information, what's sold, what's been pending, all that good information to have with me. So I did print it out for my sake. As far as the packet and the presentation, I had a folder, I had the agreement with me. I did not fill it out that first time because I wanted to get their feedback, but I just had it with me.
So you're talking about the listing agreement, the exclusive right to sell?
Yes. So
okay.
I brought it with me just in case if I needed to leave it with them and say, okay, if you need to review it and get back with me, and if you wanted me to send it via DocuSign, you know, I could do that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got there, introduced myself, I wanted to be very like personable. So I'm just asking them to share where they are in their journey and things like that. Then we do the walkthrough of the home. Let me see the house and everything. And then I kind of went shortly through how I could help them, you know, based on the research that I did. Now, before then, I didn't know nothing about the neighborhood. I think it was actually in Texas City. Okay. So I had to do the research before I went there so I could have something to tell them that what I knew from my research. So I got the listing and they did need to buy. So I got a listing and a buyer's lead.
Sweet.
So from that, I've learned that prepare, research. You don't have to necessarily, you know, always sell or be buying in that area, but you need to make sure you do research before going into that meeting of their property surrounding what's been sold, rented, all the above.
So prior to the listing appointment.
Yes.
Okay. All right, good. Awesome. Well, thank you for sharing. And matter of fact, Eric, I told you I was gonna come back to you. So what had you learned from your first experience up until now, as far as working with sellers and listings?
So I, of course, built my confidence up, right?
Mhm.
Because I was super nervous the first couple times. Confidence, the young lady just previously stated, of course, doing your research. You have to know the information, know what you're talking about, especially if it's in a particular area where you're not normally used to doing business. I come from a city that's, pretty small, so knowing different areas wasn't as a challenge, but I'm sure this is about to be a challenge for me now, full transferring to Houston, and Houston is just huge. And also gonna be the challenge because a lot of my business in general was from referrals, people I know, people who knew of me, who knew somebody. So now I'm about to basically, cold call, 90% of my business. So it's a new challenge. I'm nervous, but I'm ready.
But you'll do great. You're gonna do great.
Thank you.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks for sharing that. But yeah, so like what Kim spoke earlier, we're gonna talk a little bit about some strategies on how we can bring in more listings. We're also going to spend a little bit of time, not a whole lot of time, but I would like for some of our newer agents to know how to access the forms, the exclusive right to sell listing agreement, which is the thing that defines your relationship, right? Because to say, oh, I have a listing, well, what does that mean? What that really means is that you have someone that wants to sell their home and they've signed that employment agreement and they've hired you as their realtor. Without that employment agreement in place, then you don't have a listing. You are just offering up free services because they are not entitled to pay you. So we'll spend a little time with that, but we'll start off with just talking about some ways that you can enhance your listing inventory. The first thing, Kim, that I would say as it relates to working with listings or getting more listings is being creative, right? I honestly feel like there are thousands of ways to generate more business, whether working with sellers or working with buyers. And you just have to be creative to determine which strategy and which technique that you're going to use. One thing that I've done in the past, Kim, and I don't know, are you familiar with the Dating the For Sale by Owner program that we used to do in the past as a way to get more listings?
Yes, I was introduced to that, but I didn't practice it.
You didn't? Okay. So for those that are not familiar with that program, the premise of it, and you all, if you're an affiliate, then you don't yet have access to the Success in Real Estate machine. But once you become agents and all of our commission split agents, they have access to the Success in Real Estate machine. And that is a digital tool. And inside of that tool, you can actually see the program that I'm about to describe to you, which we use to help us increase our listing inventory. Matter of fact, this will probably be something that you would really want to latch on to, Erica, especially that you're relocating here from Louisiana, and you're going to have to really be doing cold calling and stuff anyway. So the premise of here's the premise of the Dating the For Sale by Owner. Well, for sale by owners, in their essence, don't want to use a realtor. They don't want to pay the commission. And it's not that they're trying to not pay the whole 6%. They just don't want to pay 3%, because what most of them say, and Laquana, Kim, y'all correct me if I'm wrong. What most of them say is, if you bring me a buyer, I'll pay you 3%. They just don't want to commit to the 6%. And so, since that's the case, what we determined was, well, before I even say that, and also studies show that close to 90% of for sale by owners, all for sale by owners eventually use a realtor to sell their house. So those are proven studies that have shown that. So with that being said, it's not necessarily if a for sale by owner is going to use a realtor, it's a matter of when. So what we wanted to do is we wanted to position ourselves so when that for sale by owner had that moment of truth, because you got to let them come up with it themselves. Like they're not going to, you can't tell them, you can't force them, because they're ready for that. Like the for sale by owner is ready to defend its stance on the fact that they can do it by themselves. They're do-it-yourself people. So they're already ready to defend that stance. So you can't explain it. You can't convince them any other way. So what you have to do is you have to allow them to come into this own self-revelation of the fact that you have no idea what you're doing. You need to let a professional do it. So our dating a for sale by owner program is designed for you to just be with them, be next to them. That's why we call it dating a for sale by owner. You're in essence dating them because they don't want to make a commitment. They don't want to marry, right? But they will date you because there is value in tools that you have access to, and that's what for sale by owners want to do. They want to access your free stuff. That's what they want to do. So in our program, we would offer things like, hey, we'll put a for sale sign in your yard. We'll put the for sale sign. We'll field the inquiries on your property, because I know you probably, most for sale by owners, they have a 9 to 5. So they're trying to sell their house on top of their regular job and regular responsibilities with their family. So, time could be an issue. They say, hey, look, man, I can handle those and I can ensure that you're only speaking to serious inquiries. So all those looky-loos, those people that ain't really serious, I'll filter through that. I'll do that for you at no cost. We'll give you access to a lockbox, right? We'll help manage showings and things for you. We'll do open houses to offer, additional exposure to your property. So now you would think, well, why would we do all of that if you're not getting paid for it? Why would you offer all of that activity and all of that value? Why would you give all that to the for sale by owner? Well, here's the reality. The way that you really grow your business is that you want to leverage what attracts buyers. And the reason that Realtor.com and Zillow, and HAR are so successful is because they've gotten the thing that the buyers are attracted to. And what is that? That's the properties. Zillow secured relationships with all the MLSs, so all of the properties for sale are on their website. So obviously, it's going to draw people that are looking to buy a house, looking at buy houses. And HAR, Realtor.com, guess what? As a real estate professional, you can do the same thing. Zillow don't own those properties. Those aren't Zillow's listings. They're leveraging other people's listings, other people's properties, and they're using it to attract buyer leads. And then Zillow's business model is to sell those buyer leads back to you. So they're using your listings to attract buyer leads that your listings attracted, and then they selling those buyer leads back to you at a premium. That's Zillow's business model. Well, guess what? You can do the same thing. So with working with the for sale by owner, in essence, that's what we're talking about. If you put your sign in their yard, you get 10 for sale by owners that agree to let you put your sign in their yard. How many buyer leads do you think you'll be able to attract from being able to do that? If you get 10 for sale by owners to allow you to say, you create, one of the things that we did with the dating for sale by owner program was we created a Facebook page, and we would utilize that Facebook page to post the properties. And then we would use that page to as a platform to grow our social media presence. Well, if you have a constant flow of for sale by owners, constant flow of properties, then now you're attracting buyers through your social media audiences and things like that. So at the end of the day, it's twofold. It's you're staying close and you're staying intimate with that prospective seller, Because like I said earlier, it's not about if the seller is going to use a realtor, it's a matter of when. You're staying closely intimate. Well, who do you think that seller is going to use when their aha moment hits? They're going to use the one that's been providing them some level of service at no cost. So that's the for sale by owner program that we utilize. What do you all think about that? Like, give me some feedback. Does that seem like something that makes sense, or something that is anybody interested in maybe trying that out as a strategy to help them get more listings?
I am.
All right.
I mean, I have to, right?
Absolutely. Terry, it looks like you're about to say something.
How did you know? I was debating.
Because you unmuted yourself. So people that unmute themselves, they about to say something.
Well, I was thinking about it, and you guys may have already answered this question. Something I probably already know the answer to. When we put our seller to sign, they have to sign a listing agreement with us, though, right?
No, they don't have to.
Okay.
No. What the listing agreement does is it commits them to pay you a commission. In essence, they're hiring you. That's all the listing commission does. It creates a relationship, or it creates a particular type of relationship. That's what it creates, and that's why I'm gonna put the agreement before we end our session today. But it creates a particular type of relationship. But you can have multiple relationships, many, and that's why I said you got to be creative, because a relationship as a real estate professional with a seller does not have to be one size fits all. Like, it does not have to just look one particular way. It doesn't just have to look that way that our industry tries to condition us as defined by that exclusive right to sell. Like, that's not the only relationship that you can have with a prospective seller as far as value.
Okay.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I kind of have another question.
Okay.
I was going through my mail yesterday. I was like, how do you overcome this obstacle here? I'm assuming it doesn't probably happen very, very often, but you're trying to get a listing, someone is selling their home, and you meet with them and they say, wait a minute, I just spoke with an investor. Basically, why should I pay you? I know they're not going to pay me full value, and they're advertising that. However, why list with you, pay commission, pay closing costs when they're offering me all of these things plus an immediate closing within like a week or so? How do you overcome that?
So before I answer, does anybody want to tackle that question from Ms. Terry Petrie?
Hey, this is Erica.
Okay.
So my response will be, if you've already done your kind of research, you can kind of quickly gauge the CMA to see what's the sales price in the area for the condition of the home, if you've seen it or even know it. And just say, for example, the house could be sold for $150 for the sake of numbers. The investor want to give $100,000, and you tell her, well, ma'am or sir, yes, this is true. You close within a week, but you're giving up $50,000. The 6% commission you will pay to the broker, plus closing costs will only equal up to, $12,000. So in essence, you can make you're leaving $38,000 on the table by choosing that investor, because whether you accept cash or financing, money is money. You want your money in a week, or you want your money in 40 days. But
well,
you'll
it
have
depends.
more.
What if you don't sell my house in 6? What if it takes? Okay, my house may be on the market for 3 to 6 months. I'm losing every day, and then not only that, what about all the fees associated with closing?
I understand, but the broker's fee is 6%. You don't have to. You're not obligated. You're not. Absolutely, you're not actually obligated to pay a buyer's full closing costs. That is a courtesy that you're offering to a buyer. The market that we're currently in right now, ma'am or sir, it seems to be shifting to a seller's market. So you have more. You kind of have. I don't want to make it seem like you kind of have more leverage, right? Because there are more buyers out there than they have qualified homes on the market, right? The inventory is very low. So you may not have to pay a buyer's full closing costs. It's a courtesy.
But what if they don't agree to it? They don't agree to it. It's the gamble that I'm taking.
Well, we'll see. Well, hold on, because Terry, you can throw all kind of what ifs out there. So don't be
Uh-huh.
be a nice seller. Be the good nice seller, right?
No, but I like
But I'm
it.
saying if we get that,
Yeah.
what do we,
All right.
That's how
So
we
let's
gotta
see.
practice.
I think
I like the
Laquan wanted
practice.
to. No, it's good. Absolutely, it's good. It's good. So I will let Laquan. Did you want to say something before I jump on it?
Yeah, I've actually had a lot of sellers, not a lot of sellers, a little bit that I did have, say that same thing. Like they have investors sending them mail, offers through the mail, posting things on the door, and they don't quite know what to do with it, right? They don't know what it means. So when I come in, I say, well, let me look at it. Let me take a look at what you're seeing. Maybe I can help you understand what they're saying that they're offering. So I wouldn't even come in and say, even though I know, initially I'm saying, let me help you understand what you're receiving, right? So once you gain the trust and they see that you're kind of someone on their side, then you can segue into, the money part, but I wouldn't lead with it. It's more coming in saying, okay, let me take a look at it. I can vet them out for you, see if they're serious. You're going to get a lot of these things. The market is going to give you more for your money, but let me understand your situation. Do you need to be out in 2-3 weeks? Do you need, understanding the seller's situation helps in the communication and the conversation leading towards you gonna pay me that commission. But I don't start off with that.
Absolutely.
You meet with them, do your research, and then say, hey, I'll let you guys compare. Now,
Well, no. That's not what she's saying, Terry. That's not what she's saying. But she's actually hit the nail on the head. So, Terry, if you ever get that response, so give me that response, give it to me, and then I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna show you what you need to do. So
why should I go with why should I go with why should I go with you guys? They're gonna close. They're telling me they'll give me, my house is appraising, my home is worth 150,000. They're saying they're gonna give me about 100 and between 115, 120,000 to next week. Okay. If I don't go with them, I go with you guys. I have to allow you guys to put it on the market. We have to wait. And then on top of that, they're telling me, of course, in that price, the commission that I would pay you is included, plus all the closing costs, which is negotiable. And clearly understand that. So,
well, let me ask you this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller. The information that they gave to you, do you trust that information?
No. That's what I'm saying. I understand what she's saying. Like she said, let me gather information.
No. I'm not saying offer any of that. I'm saying ask them, do you trust the information that these people have presented to you?
Well, I'm doing my research.
Okay, so you don't know. So you don't know if your house.
I don't know.
You don't know if your house is worth 150,000. It could be.
Oh yeah, they're gonna say, oh yeah, well yeah, of course, they check. That's a and of course they're gonna feel they say their house is worth more. But yes, oh yes, I know my home is worth.
Right. So you've done a market analysis, or you paid an appraiser to come out and appraise your property?
No, a lot of times they say they're going according to their tax record. What they saw online.
So it's possible that information, there may be some gaps in that information. That is possible.
Yes.
All right. So I guess your question is why should you hire us versus working with the investor directly? That's your question.
And closing immediately. Closing within a week or two.
All right. So by working with the investor, you feel like you'll be able to get a quick sale.
Yes.
All right. So now is that what's most important to you? Selling fast or making the most amount of money? Like, which is most important to you?
Both, because I'm going through a divorce.
Okay. But if you had to one above the other, which would be more important? Because
fast.
All right. So if getting it done fast is most important to you, then yeah, investors, that's why want to buy at a premium, or why they don't want to buy at a premium, because they're offering that luxury of being able to close on your house faster than a traditional buyer. But now, have you considered this though? You talking to a single investor. Do you feel like that's in our humongous market out here? do you feel like there's only one investor out here in this market, or maybe there's hundreds, if not thousands of investors that are out here in our market? What do you
No, there's thousands of investors. I'm
There's
getting
thousands
mail
of
from everywhere. That's why I'm meeting with them. I'm weighing my options right now.
Absolutely. So now let me ask you this question. Would it be, as far as your quality and your experience with selling this home, would it be easier for you if, instead of you having to do all that and you having to vet these investors and talk to them and meet with them, if you had somebody else that was professional, that was an expert, had an expertise in real estate, deal with these investors and then be able to present to you, based on their expertise and representation, information to help you make the best decision for your family? Like, would that be valuable to you?
Yes, it would be very valuable. Now, is that something you guys can offer, a service you can offer? And if so, how much are you going to charge for it?
So here's the thing. Here's the reality. There is no standard cost as it relates to commissions and all that other stuff, right? What I know from you is it valuable to have somebody there, an advocate, somebody that has your best interest at heart and go to bat for you? Is that important and valuable to you?
Yes, to a certain extent. It depends on how much value you're putting on it.
Well, how much value would you put on it?
If my home is 150,000, I will put maybe about someone doing the leg work for me. Because I'm going to do my leg work as well.
But let me stop you there.
About $3,000.
But let me stop you there.
You'll get something ridiculous like that.
Let me stop you there. Let me stop you there, Mr. Seller. If you're hiring somebody to do something, why would you keep trying to do the thing that you're hiring them to do? The whole point of hiring them to do it is to free up your time so you can go spend time with your family. You can go focus on other things that you want to do, and then you hand that off to somebody else to get the result that you're looking to get. It's freeing your time up. To me, it doesn't make sense for you to keep trying to do something when you're paying somebody else to do it. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I'm sort of a control freak.
Yeah.
You have those.
Yeah. So here's the reality, Terry. You're gonna get that. What you just threw at me. Most sellers, they're not that tough. At most sellers, what they care about is either you can give me the most amount of money, right? Because most sellers, they're not pressed. They're not pressed. They're not in a situation where they gotta sell quick and take this big hit. Because that's the difference between an investor buyer and a retail buyer. The investor buyer what they're selling is speed. Like they can get it closed quick, but because they can get it closed quick, they want to buy at a discount, which makes sense.
A huge discount. Yes.
Right. But then you have the retail buyer. Well, they're not trying to close fast, but you're going to get max value based off of what the market is providing. So that's the difference between the two. So when you're talking to a seller like that, first of all, you got to get them to understand the difference between both buyers, because those are the only two buyers that are in the market. It's either an investor buyer, they're gonna buy it fast, but it's gonna be at a discount, so that seller's gonna make less money, or a retail buyer is gonna take a little longer, but they're gonna make more money. If they come and they say, "Well, I want both," you can't get both, because there is no buyer out there that's giving you both. That's gonna give you the most money that you want, and they're gonna sell it quickly. Like that doesn't make that buyer's not there. So it's one or the other. So
I know normally what I've seen has been, a huge discount, almost like 50% of their equity.
Well, that's
what I've seen. It's been ridiculous. However, and I don't know how true this is, but someone was telling me that they got it. And like I said again, it sounds almost too good to be true. It wasn't 50, it was probably about 30%, but maybe because they also had another buyer lined up.
But Terry, listen, Terry, listen. So, today we're talking about picking up more listing business.
Yes.
Right. So if you get a seller and they're entertaining working with an investor, if they're entertaining, hey, I'm gonna just do business with this investor, because the only way that you can get that seller to change his mind is that you have to get him or her to realize that there's a better way to get it done. And if you can't get them to realize that there's a better way, there's an alternative to them working with this investor, then at some point you just got to cut your losses and then go find somebody else that wants to work with you. But
Yeah.
but the one thing that we can't do as professionals, especially talking about listings, and now this is coming from my own personal experience because I used to do it myself. I used to feel like we could do this. You cannot make anybody do business with you. Cannot. There is no objection handling technique out there. There is no strategy. There is no script that's going to get somebody to do business with you that does not want to do business with you. So the only thing that you can do is that you can encourage somebody to do business with you and try to influence them to do business with you. And the way that you influence people to do business with you is using what already influences them, using that as leverage to get them to move in whatever direction you want them to move in. Now, to be able to do that, you have to ask questions. You have to find out, which is kind of what LaQuanta talked about.
Yes. And do your research and present it
No,
to them.
not
'Cause like-
research. No, not research. You got to find out from them. You got to get them to tell you what is important to them, what is motivating them, what is driving this decision. You got to get them to tell you, and then they're going to tell you how to influence them. They're going to tell you how to inspire them. So when you first walk in that meeting, you should be curious. You should be going there, hey, I just want to learn about you. I want to learn about what's important to you. I want to learn about what moves you, what drives you. And you want to just ask a whole lot of questions because you're looking for something that you can leverage, that you can use to influence them to do business with you. Does that make sense?
Yes, and what I've stated in the past is, did they put that in writing? One.
Well,
And
but
two,
I
I
wouldn't
say right off
approach
the
it.
bat.
But that's what I'm
Well, right
saying,
off the bat.
Terry.
Well, what
I
I've
wouldn't
told them,
approach
well,
it.
listen, I've told them, I said, they normally what they're telling you they're going to give you, most of the time is not accurate because, well, it's accurate, but it's 50%. It's most of, and what I have seen, I have not seen or heard anything different, but it's like 50% of their.
But Terry, let me stop you there. Terry, that strategy is not going to work with them. And the reason it's not going to work is because they don't know you. They don't trust you. They don't know who you are. So the information that you provide to them, it's not credible if you don't have built a relationship of trust with them yet. So don't go in there trying to get them to change their mind. Don't go in there trying to discredit what they're doing, because in essence, they're looking at it as, oh, so you calling me stupid? You saying I don't know what I'm doing? Like that, you don't want to approach it like that. You understand what I'm saying? Do it. Like that's how I used to approach it. And let me tell you, I walked out of many listing appointments without the listing, many of them. So we're in the people business. Not about houses. It ain't about land. It's about people. And you got to understand how to influence how the nuances of the human being. Like that's what we got to utilize. So you first got to understand what moves them, what drives them. You gotta have that. And the way that you do that is asking questions and being curious, being super curious about them and their situation to try to find some leverage that you can utilize to now move them in whatever particular direction that you want to move them in. But if you go trying to say, well, in essence, telling them that they wrong, it's not going to work. And I know you
have a question.
Okay,
Quick
I'm gonna get
question.
to go ahead, Jay.
I'd just like to know, what if they try to use the information and the knowledge that they have to leverage against you?
Then, well, that's why, great question, Jamie. That's why it's important for professionals that we're constantly learning. You have to constantly stay above the knowledge base of the customer.
But even if you already know, because a lot of times we already do know, and that's why I'm asking, because I'm not trying to be difficult, but this is something I've incurred. I'm just curious to know, how do you handle a customer that you know that they're using their knowledge and what they know? Because a lot of people, believe it or not, some of them are knowledgeable, or they think they're knowledgeable. We know how much they know from, like you said, asking questions and seeing what they're saying. But in their mind, I mean, a lot of times the stuff, you know, it all boils down to integrity and mentality, just being honest about it. So what I'm saying to you is, even with all of that, and from your experience, because this is truly a question. This is not a debate. This is truly a question I'm asking you. How do you handle a customer that uses information and the knowledge they believe they know wholehearted to try to leverage against you to not pay you what you want or what you think you deserve? I'm just asking, because this happens.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, I've never faced that scenario where a customer was leveraging their information, because I know,
Oh, okay.
like I'm going into, if I'm going to meet with a seller, I automatically know my information is automatically better than their information. They don't have better information than me, because this is what I do. Like, this is my career. They don't have the kind of exposure that I have. They don't have the kind of access that I have. So I already know going in, my information is more credible than their information, strictly on the fact because I'm a real estate professional and they're not. So
Michael,
for them to be able to utilize, or for them to be able to leverage what they know against me, I don't even really see how they would even be able to do it. Go ahead, Eric.
Michael, I have a question. I'll make a statement then a question. My statement is sellers and some buyers, they think they know because they are relying on the Zillows and the Realtor.com. But what they don't understand is, although those websites have access to some MLS, but they're not all of them. So what they think those estimates are not really accurate, because they're going off what the house is for sale, not what houses have sold.
Absolutely. No, I
So
agree
that's-
with you. I
So
agree
that's
with
how
you, Eric.
that's how sometimes they think they know more than we know, although we're professionals, because we have access to the comparables of what have sold that can
Right.
determine the market
Right.
that
Which is
sometimes those websites don't have.
right. Which is in essence, but guess what? That's what I said. I said
Right.
my information is more credible
Well, then yes, than what they think they have.
than what,
Well,
right,
my-
it is. But here's the thing. You have to be skilled on how you approach it, though, because if
Right.
I go to them and I say what you just said, well, you know, man, you know, with Zillow, these numbers, they're not right, you know, sold properties. In essence, you're telling them
Yeah,
that
they're
they're
wrong.
wrong and they don't know what they're doing. You see what I'm saying?
Right. And they get
Now,
defensive and
and
shut
they
down.
they get defensive. And do you think that you've enhanced your chances of them doing business with you?
No.
No, you have not.
Nah.
So what I'm saying is they have to come to their own revelation that must be a better way.
Right.
What you can do is that you guide them, you help them get to their own level of revelation that this may not be the best way to approach it. And the way that you do that is, number one, you be curious about them, because that's going to help with rapport. So you got rapport with them. And then as you're curious and you're asking questions and you're learning about their motivations and the things that they're trying to do, at the same time, you want to be trying to guide them to understand that the way that they're approaching it is not necessarily the right way to approach it. And you do that by just asking questions, and you say, hey, so, you know, you said your house is worth 150,000. You know, did you kind of do that? Like, is it you're basing that off of Zillow, or you're like, you talk to some realtors? Like, how did you determine? Like, you start kind of questioning their method, right? And then look for your chance to maybe redirect them or offer them something else, to say, well, you know, had you considered this, or did you know this? You know, had anybody told you this, right? And if you're doing a good job of building rapport with them, then they're slowly but surely going to start trusting you and be like, hey, you know what? Maybe this is something I should take in consideration. And, you know, one of the things that LaQuanta said in the chat, and I agree with her, it is going to take more than one conversation.
That's what I was about to say.
Yeah.
It takes, it's not going to be no one time. You
And that's why
you gotta work on.
And good. Guess what? And that's why we called it dating the for sale by owner, right? Because it's going to take, you know, there are programs out there and there are speakers out there that try to teach that here's a script, use this script on for sale by owners, they're going to do business with you. No, they not. They gonna look for a reason to get off the phone, because guess what? If they stick a for sale by owner sign in their yard, can you imagine how many phone calls they're already getting from realtors? They're getting from realtors. So you have to approach it a different way. And yes, it's gonna take time, and it's gonna take more than one conversation, and it's gonna take that continual relationship. Just like anything in real estate, this is a pipeline business. I don't know about you, but the money that I tend to make in real estate, when I was practicing working with buyers and sellers, when I went on a listing agreement, the next day I wasn't putting no money in my pocket. Matter of fact, when my initial phone call with the person, and next week I wasn't cashing no commission check. All right. That conversation I had with that guy today, realistically, I probably wasn't getting paid off that guy or that for 4 to 6, 8 months in the future. It's a pipeline business. So what we have to make sure is that every day we have to make sure we're doing the activities that are going to set up our future income. And then the checks that we're making today, those checks have come from activities that we've done 3, 6, 4 months in the past. That's just turning over. So as real estate professionals, that's the dynamic that you want to create in your business. Meaning the stuff I get paid off today is off of the activities I did yesterday. The activities that I'm doing today, I'm getting paid off that stuff tomorrow. And if you continue to keep that trend, that's how you build sustainability in real estate.
Michael, I have another question.
Absolutely.
How many calls you think should be made daily?
As many as you can, because the more calls you make,
I know that.
Right, the more calls you make, the faster and the larger your business can grow. So you pick a number. If you can get 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, do it. If you can only get 10, 20, 30, do it. But just know, the more calls that you make, the more touches, we call them touches.
Mm-hmm.
Touches that you're doing on a daily basis, the faster you're positioning your business to have that sustainability and consistency and scale. That makes sense?
Yes, thank you.
All right. So how do y'all feel about the direction that the conversation is going? Is there something that else that y'all want me to address? Do y'all want me to talk about something different? Or do y'all feel like we want to continue to go in this kind of vein? Let me get some feedback from you guys.
Hi, Mike. I have a question about a specific scenario.
Okay.
I had a prospect. I approached the family. There was a death in the family. And so just reached out to let them know if I could help them in any way by providing information for them to make the best decision to let me know. And then ultimately they contacted me and said, they were interested in possibly a home. So I told them I would definitely provide for them a market analysis to give them an idea of what the house was worth. It's an older home, hadn't been updated. And the final decision they made, they say they learned that the dad had a reverse mortgage on the home. And they feel like it's just not worth the hassle with the amount that he owes, which they didn't tell me what that amount was. I did ask. And the number of siblings, when it all comes out, it's just not going to be worth the hassle. Mm-hmm. And I said, okay, but as I've been thinking about it for the last couple of days, like, should I pursue that? Should I go back with, some arguments or not arguments, but support for why they may reconsider and consider selling the home on the market with the realtor.
So what are their plans?
The family said they're just going to go ahead and let, I guess it's the investor or the lender with the reverse mortgage, have the house.
Oh, so they're going to let it get foreclosed on.
Well, is it a foreclosure or does it revert? I'm not familiar with reverse mortgages. I've never worked with a reverse mortgage scenario before. Are you familiar
Yeah.
with?
Yeah,
It's a foreclosure.
it's a foreclosure.
Okay.
Yeah. So what I would do is ask them, did they know that it's a foreclosure? But here's the reality though. I mean, the person is deceased. So even if like, it ain't like it's going to impact their credit. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like none of that matters at this point. The loss to the heirs and everything is whatever equity that would have been entitled to them as heirs to that estate, they forfeit. They forfeit all of that to the bank. So is it that the house is upside down? Maybe the house is upside down. Is that what it is? That is.
It seems like the main argument is that nobody to be responsible for it. There are about 4 siblings. I'm not sure where it is in terms of the estate, you know, if legal actions have been taken to identify who the representative would be, or just whatever that entire process. I don't have a lot of experience with heirship, and particularly with the second element, the dynamic of the reverse mortgage.
Well, now if you're okay, so here to answer your question, if you're going to get them back on track with you, you have to present to them that they're losing if they don't exhaust all options, right? You have to present that to them. And the only way that an heir loses is if there's some money that they were going to receive from the liquidation of the property. And so if they're going to lose that money that they was going to receive because they're just not taking the time to see or exhaust all their options, then they're losing. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
So for you, you really need to, have you ever met with all 4 siblings at the same time?
No, I haven't.
Yeah. So I would frame it as, we don't know if that's the best move. Like I would like ask them like this. I would say, whoever your point of contact is, I would say, look, on a scale from 1 to 10, with 10 being you're absolutely sure this is the best move, where are you all on this scale of 1 to 10 as far as y'all level of confidence is this being the best move, letting the bank foreclose on this property? I would ask them that.
Okay.
And if they give you anything less than a 10, then there's room to, let's continue to explore it then. And that's how I would present it to them. Well, let's continue to explore it. And if they say, okay, well, let's, what does exploring it look like, or continuing to explore it? It's like, look, let's just get some more information. I need to set up a meeting with you and your siblings. Like, you need to get everybody in the room together. And then, and let them know, and don't approach it from a standpoint of, to them, you're just trying to get the listing. You approach it from a standpoint of, hey, look, this may be the best option. The house getting foreclosed on by the bank may be the best option, but we don't know. So my role is to eliminate all other options to leave this one as the best. And if that's the case, then boom, we move forward. We just let them foreclose.
That's a great position. Thank you.
Yeah, there we go. So you still got it. All right. So, all right.
Mike, I have one question about that.
Go ahead.
Now that we're talking about reverse, if I'm not mistaken, isn't it true that the reverse mortgage process, they don't pay out a seller 100% of the value of the home? I think it's only like 70%. So there may be equity in the house.
Correct.
Maybe.
Correct.
But see, the heirs don't know that.
Right. It's kind of like, it's just like, Kim, it's like a refinance. Equity refi, cash out. It's kind of like a refi cash out, like a reverse mortgage. So what Erica is saying is that when the owner applied for the reverse mortgage, that bank didn't give them 100% of the value. It might have been 70%, it might have been 60%, it might have been 80%, just depending on what their ratios were at that time.
Right. We've talked about there being potential equity, and as I said, they didn't give me the exact amount of what that refinance, not the refinance, but the reverse mortgage was.
Right.
And it, my interpretation of what they said, that it's the amount that they're thinking it would be, the equity in there wouldn't be worth their effort. And, I don't know the family dynamics. You're absolutely right about getting everyone on board so we can hear from everyone. The sister that I have been in communications with, she's not the decision maker. And I was trying to get a direct line of communication with the decision maker. And, ultimately she just said, well, she said, we're not going to, worry about it. It's not worth it. We're just going to let the process pretty much work itself out. But I will revisit that,
Yeah, just revisit it. And when you revisit it the first time, you still may get the same response. But until that house actually gets foreclosed on, you got a shot, right? As long, so I would just keep working it in that vein. Just keep checking in with them, seeing how things are going. Did it get worked out? Just continue to keep walking with them until, because at any point something could change, things could change, and then maybe they could get some additional information that decision maker could have heard something else, and now they do want to reconsider, or they do want to put themselves into a position where maybe they can explore a little bit more, that maybe there is an alternative, maybe there is an option. Oh, and this realtor Kim keeps engaging, and that's what she's been wanting to do with us. Let's see, let's let her dig a little bit more to see if there's something better out there for us.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. So LaQuanta, you asked the question about best practices from start to finish. You can share as it relates to what? I saw that in your chat.
I mean, as it relates to getting listings, prospecting, marketing, all of that. Like, you have some best practices for us to think about, or to scripts, things like that we should be thinking of and having together?
Absolutely. So as it relates to getting listings and properties, I wouldn't use the word best practices, because what may work for somebody may not work for somebody else. It really depends on who you are in the individual. If you guys just wanted a list of things that agents are doing to pick up listings, you can Google that, and Google will give you a list of things that agents are doing. What I would really want you all to do is tap into your creativity, right? Especially you all that have been in the business for some time. I mean, if you've been in the business 3, 4, 5 years, you kind of know how it works. Like you kind of know how, if a person's wanting to sell their house, like what they care about, like what are their concerns. So, if anything, if you're looking to pick up listings, you definitely, if you live in a neighborhood and there are other houses in that neighborhood, you definitely need to be leveraging that, right? Because you're automatically in a situation where you have something in common with the customer that you're going after. You're their neighbor. So there are many things that you could do to try to leverage that. Like one is if your neighborhood doesn't have a newsletter, you can go out, go to all your neighbors, knock on their doors, and try, and you want to capture their information, name, phone number, email address, mailing address. And what you tell them is that, hey, look, I want to put together a little newsletter to where we can kind of exchange, get to know one another, in this world of, people are just kind of doing their own thing. The neighbors don't hang out like they used to. I think the neighbors will be open to something like that. Let them know, hey, like maybe we could do a community garage sale. Maybe we could do block party or something like that. I'm a realtor. I'm all about community. So I want to take the lead on bringing us together as neighbors. Now, what you've done is that you've put yourself in a position to where you can be on the forefront of the minds of the people that live in your neighborhood. So now when they do think about selling their house, based on how you've engaged with them on that consistent basis, who are they going to think about first when it's time, when they start having questions, because we know how it goes with listings. Before they just put their house on the market, they start asking questions. They start asking about things. They start posing little questions to you about what's going on and what's here and there. So if you're accessible, that's the word. If you're accessible to your neighbors as a resource, as it relates to that real estate space, that's really going to help you get listings, be able to pick up listings in a place that's convenient for you because you live there. It's convenience. So it's easy to marry those two together. So that's definitely one thing that I would encourage all of you all to consider, is figuring out a way to creatively offer accessibility to your neighbors, capture their contact information so you can control the follow-up, and then follow up and engage with them on a continual basis. I would encourage you to do that. Like I said, you could do it with a newsletter. You could say, hey, look, you know, I'm a real estate professional, and once a quarter, I'm concerned about whether I'm thinking about selling my house or not. I want to know where my house ranks as it relates to value. So every quarter, you know, I'm going to put together a market activity report, and I want to, and you're my neighbor, I want to be able to send it to you. So, you know, if you give me your email, I can email it, and if you give me your phone number, I can call and make sure that you got it, right? So you want to give them a reason to why it's in their best interest to give you their contact information. They feel like they're getting something. So those are just a couple of ideas, but there's a bunch of ideas. All you got to do is just got to sit down and think about it and be creative, and come up with something that fits within the realms of, like, you don't want it to be a burden. Like, you don't want, like, you're going to be doing this every quarter, but it's difficult and cumbersome to do it. Like, you don't want to do that. You want something that you enjoy doing, that you like, so it's an easy flow, but you get the result that you're trying to get, because the result that you're trying to get is just staying in the forefront of the minds of your neighbors. And so when they have a question, or when that moment is approaching, that they can easily access you, and that you know first what they're considering and what they're thinking. Does that make sense, Laquana?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's one great idea. Like I said earlier, you know, if you go to Google, you'll be able to see, you know, get other ideas and other strategies that people are utilizing. But again, I wouldn't call it best practices, because what may work for somebody may not work for somebody else. But what it'll help you do is it'll start helping you get your juices turning in your brain and in your mind, for you to create something custom for you that's going to work to help you get more clients that are looking to sell.
Can I interject?
Say it again, Laquana.
Well, when I meant best practices, what I meant by that was, okay, as you're preparing for the listing, what you should have with you, what things you should, checklists, different things like that, that a new agent or a person would not know to automatically do, like what.
Absolutely. So, you know, I mentioned this earlier, that Success in Real Estate Machine, that, you know, our mentors, mentees, new agents that you all have access to. That question that Laquana just asked, it's all there already laid out, right? From skill set 3 all the way to skill set 6, all the checklists, the presentations, what you should take, the script, as it relates to the going on the actual listing appointment. I even have the example presentation that's on there. So all of that stuff is already laid out. So I definitely don't want to be redundant. Like, I would want to use this time for us to talk about things that you don't have access to. But if you have not gone on, if you're a new agent and you have not gone into your Success in Real Estate Machine and gone, looked at the videos, looked at the documents and everything that's in there, you need to do it, because you need to become familiar with that resource and that tool. So when those situations do happen, you know where to go, versus you trying to call your mentor or you trying to call me and saying, hey, I got this going on, what do I do? You'll already be familiar. And even if you don't quite understand some of the stuff, then when you do make that call to your mentor, you do make that call to me, then we're not necessarily starting you from ground zero. We're just helping kind of plug in the gaps, because you're already familiar with what we gave you access to with the Success in Real Estate Machine. So that's there with, as it relates to that. I think that'll really help them better, Laquana, versus me just trying to, because doing that will take up like all the rest of our time, because it's a lot. It's a lot that goes into those elements.
No, that's perfect. And I may have missed that part. So
Yeah, no. It's okay. All right. Does anybody have any other questions or anything else that you guys want me to point out before I pull up this exclusive right to sell agreement?
No.
Okay, thank you, Terry. All right. So before we wrap things up, I just want you all to be familiar with where to get the form, especially if you're brand new. Now, over time, so I've been in this for 16 years. You know, I've done over 1,000 transactions. I can safely say that, and I've been a part of over 1,000 transactions. And when I first got in, we would like Zip Forms was the place that you would go to get your forms. Like there was one place you go to Zip Forms. But over the years, they have now multiple places that you can get these forms. I'm curious to hear from Kim, Laquana, like where do y'all go to get y'all forms? Like if you're going to get an exclusive right to sell or a listing agreement, where would you go to get it?
I guess I'm a dinosaur. I'm still using Zip Forms.
You using
It works
Zip
for me.
Forms?
They've got it mobile now. It works for me.
Laquana, where are you going to get it? Okay, maybe she stepped away. But all right, so you're going to Zip Forms. All right, so let me share my screen. All right.
using Zip Forms. Sorry, I was trying to figure out how to get back to the meeting.
Oh, all right. So you're using Zip Forms too?
Yes. But I've heard of other ones. I just can't think of their names that other agents have told me that they use, but
Yeah,
I'm
we're
still.
gonna go through it. All right. Okay, so all right, so first let's start with Zip Forms, because that's, I guess, like Kim said, that's where the dinosaurs are using it. So Zip Forms, you get that once you sign up for HAR, then you're automatically a member of the Texas Association of Realtors, and you're automatically a member of the National Association of Realtors. So the Texas Association of Realtors website is called texasrealtors.com, texasrealtors.com. All right, so when you first sign up, hold on, it's thinking. What's it doing? What are you doing? Maybe it's texasrealtors.org. Nope. Come on, Texas Realtors. Maybe I'm putting it in wrong. Texas Association of Realtors. Oh, I'm sorry, texasrealestate.com is the website. And we're the Texas Realtors. So when you sign up, when you first sign up with HAR, then right here it has this button, Zip Form. You can either go in there, but you have to log in and create your account. Like you register first, create your account, and then once you do that, then you click on that button and it automatically takes you to be able to log in to Texas Realtor site. So you can access it through the texasrealestate.com site or zipformsonline.com. You can go straight to it, which is this site. All right, so that's one place that you can go. So like that's my credentials in there. So when I press sign in, then inside of Zip Forms, I can access all the different forms inside of there. So it'll give you a library and I can access all the forms. So that's one place, all right? Another place you can get them is inside of HAR. If you click on tools, not tools. Let me go to my dashboard. So on my dashboard, if I scroll down, you see Forms Manager. I click on Forms Manager and it's going to pull up all my forms. Now, the difference between Forms Manager and HAR and Zip Forms is that you can actually type in Zip Forms. So like if I pick a document, and since we're doing the exclusive right to sell, so I'll type that in there, right there. So that's the residential listing. This is the agreement that we use when we get a seller to hire us. So with Zip Forms, you can actually type into the form and save it as a PDF. With Forms Manager, I use the search. When I can download it, I can open it. There's open it. No, that ain't right. When it opens it up, I can't type into it. So it's just the PDF version. They're the same forms, but just one lets me type in it and the other one doesn't let me type in it. All right, so now there's some other things that you can access through HAR as well. So you can get the Forms Manager, or you can do, let me see. Forms Manager. Maybe it's MLS.
Also, Trek has the promulgated forms available on the website there. When I'm working with individuals, a lot of do-it-yourselfers who want to do things, just to show them that, we can share proprietary information. I'll send them to that particular website to look at forms, and they're trying to do things on their own. So that is a source as well.
Absolutely. I'm glad you mentioned that. Now, here's the thing with that too, Kim. I know, especially you all that are still in real estate school or you're fresh out of real estate, they talked about the Trek form versus the TAR form, or the TAR form. So when you go to that Trek website, you're only going to get Trek forms, right? And the Trek forms are really the ones that are geared around the actual purchase agreements, the contracts. But like your buyer's rep, your IEBS, your seller's disclosure, like that stuff's not going to be on the Trek website because those are not Trek forms. So Trek is showing you only the Trek forms on their website, but you can definitely go there. Now these other places, HAR, Zip Forms, they have all of the forms in there. They have Trek forms and they have the TAR forms and everything. So the Forms Manager, you can go there, but then right here is this Transaction Desk. A Transaction Desk, I think it's pretty cool. It gives you access to the forms as well. It lets you type inside of the forms. And it also gives you this component of like a CRM. So like you can add the contacts of the people and have kind of like a mini CRM of where you're capturing your people. So now this came out way after I've been in real estate. So I'm not super familiar with Transaction Desk, but the little exposure that I've had to it, it seems pretty solid. And if I had to start all over, if I had to pick between these, I would probably pick getting familiar with Transaction Desk, just for the functionality that I've seen with it. But those are three ways that you can access that is the documents. So if we take just a real quick run through of the residential real estate listing agreement, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, man. What I would encourage you to do is read it. Just read the document, right? Because for the most part, that's how you understand these forms, by reading them. I just read them. It has parties, and then as you begin to get familiar with these forms and these contracts, you'll notice a pattern. They typically have the main part. So like this, number 1, parties, number 2, property, number 3, listing price. Like most of the forms, that's how they're structured. So with here, parties, seller, broker, because this is the agreement between the seller and the broker. This second section deals with information about the property and the legal description. We know that most of the time, well, you can get that from the county records as far as the legal description. And then just read, like right here, these are definitions. It's defining what's an improvement, and it defines it. It's defining what's an accessory, and it defines it. Exclusion, again, straightforward. The following improvements and accessories will be retained by the seller. So it defines it. So the easiest way to understand these documents is to read them, and definitely read them and become familiar with them prior to going on your listing appointment, because keep in mind, you're going to have to explain this document to them. Before they sign it, you're going to have to go through it. So you need to be familiar with it. Now, does that mean that you need to know every single item on the form? No, I've been on plenty listing appointments and they pointed out something and I didn't know the answer to that. So, and guess what I told them? I don't know the answer to that. Let me get back with you. It's okay for you not to know. You don't have to go in there trying to act as if you know everything, that you're going to be able to answer all their questions. You're not. So when you run, and guess what? And they can tell if you faking the funk. So don't even try. Just tell them, hey, I don't know the answer to that, but I'm gonna definitely get back to you. I can definitely get back to you with that answer. So that's how I would approach it. What I used to do, my trick was I would take them to page 2 and I would say, to be honest with you, this is the most important page of the listing agreement, because page 2 has the things that sellers care about. They care about how much you're gonna list my house for. They care about how long you want to be under contract. How long do I have to be under contract with you? And they care about how much I'm gonna pay you. These are 3 things. So these are the 3 areas of the listing agreement that you're gonna have your objections. They're either gonna disagree or agree with you as far as the price. If you come up with a price based off of the research that you've done, they may be like, well, nah, I want to sell it for more than that. All right. They disagree. If you tell them, hey, I want to do a 6-month or a 12-year, they may say, nah, I only want to do a 3-month. You say, hey, it's 6%. They may say, nah, I only want to pay you 3%. So these are the points of conflict, and they're all on the same page, 3, 4, and 5. So if you get past page 2, then it's smooth selling after that. Again, definitions, just definitions. All in section 2 or section 5, broker compensation, and then it's just defining things. What does it mean when it's earned? What does it mean when it's payable? Let's see. Hold on. What does it mean when it's earned? What does it mean when it's payable? Other compensation. So just definitions. Protection period is defining it. All amounts payable to the broker are paid in cash, and most of the time it's going to be Harris County because that's where we do business. But if you are in a different county and the money needs to be paid in a different county, then you will put that different county there. This is just talks about listing services. In the beginning, you got 1 or 2 listings, you probably can't handle the showings, but at some point, I know for me, like when I got up to where we had, 5 listings, 10 listings, 20 listings, you don't want to be the one having to answer the phone because that's not a life. You're not going to like that life. When your phone's always going off, your email always going off, your text always going off, you ain't going to like that life. So you definitely want to bring in a listing service like Showing Time and let them handle those showings. And it actually puts your client in a better situation because it ensures that we'll never miss a showing, because with you may be in a meeting, you may be in a closing, you may not be able to answer your phone, but with Showing Time, you're paying them to answer the phone every time somebody wants to show. And that one time you don't answer the phone, that may have been the person that would have bought that house. So you don't want to miss out on any opportunities. So
Michael, I have a question.
Yes, go ahead, Erica.
Is Showing Time comes with being a member of the local real estate board here in Houston?
You have to pay for it separate.
Wow.
Yeah, you have
Where
to
I
pay
come
for it
from,
separate.
you got
It's included.
it was included, yes.
Yeah, I guess HAR ain't negotiated that. They ain't negotiated that member benefit yet.
Well, I'm about to start a ruckus.
But remember, HAR is pretty good at negotiating member benefits. So I wouldn't be surprised if it is pretty, especially since Zillow done bought them.
So HHR is the MLS, is the realtor board here,
Yeah, the Houston Association of Realtors, HAR.
and Zillow has bought HHR.
No, Zillow bought Showing Time.
Oh, Zillow bought Showing Time. Oh,
Yeah. And HAR, they already have a good working relationship with Zillow and its representatives. So, I wouldn't be surprised if they figure something out. Okay. But yeah, so as you continue, just like I said, if you get past page 2, like you smooth sailing, because everything else is again just more definitions, just really kind of defining things. So I would encourage everybody, now you know where the form is. I would encourage you to go to it, especially if you're brand new, you've never used it before. Go to the form, begin reading it. Hey, try to fill one out. And then as you're filling it out, if you have questions, reach out to your mentor or reach out to me. And just, so you can be familiar with it. But what I really want you to be doing is I really want you to take in what we talked about here at the training, the insights that came from some of the senior agents, some of the things that I said. I want you to take that information. I want you to go out there and get some listings, right? Spend your time, spend your energy, and go out there and actively go out there and actively work to pick up a seller clients. Use that energy and these insights. Because guess what? I promise you this. If you pick up somebody that says yes to you getting to having a listing appointment with them, we gonna make sure we have you ready, right? We're gonna make sure you understand this form. We're gonna make sure you're prepared, right? So the most important part or takeaway from today's training is you all using these strategies and ideas that we gave to go and be intentional about picking up some seller clients. All right, with that being said, any other questions? What do y'all think about today's training?
this is great.
This is
This is
great.
great.
Good platform to have some questions answered, but the summation of the takeaway is be creative,
Yes.
be persistent.
Yep.
I like what Laquana said, and Mike, you reiterated this. Come from a perspective of how can I serve, and getting to know the client, getting to know them personally, what their needs are, what their objectives are, and understanding that each scenario, each case is unique and different. Thank you.
Absolutely. That's a great recap, Kim. Thank you so much. All right. So the great thing is, guys, if we are recording it, so it'll be up on the YouTube channel in about a week or so. So if you do want to recap and see it again, maybe you feel like you missed something, as well as all the other trainings that we've done. If you all didn't know, on that YouTube channel, we do have playlists of all our simulcast trainings, so you can go back to them. So if there was one that you missed or that you didn't even know we had, you can always go to our YouTube channel and revisit those trainings. We do have our pre-home buyer session this Saturday. So if you have any buyers that need to be educated on the process, that they reached out to you and they were like, I'm thinking about buying a house, then, I know a lot of you all do your one-on-ones, but you may not have time to get to the one-on-one. You can always use that pre-home buyer session as an option for them as well. You don't have to worry about anybody taking your client. So you send them there, we can educate them. We'll tell them about the process. We'll know that they came from you. And it's just a tool or a platform that you can use to educate new buyers, first-time home buyers, getting familiar with the process and understanding some of the variables, as well as additional advocates, because we'll ask them questions and get feedback from them that we can relay back to you as an agent. So we're doing that this Saturday starting at 11 o'clock. It'll be here at the Coaching and Training Center. If you do have a client that's interested, we just got to make sure that they RSVP. If you go to the Facebook business page, then you'll see the flyer, and the flyer has the registration link that they can go to. And then the same thing with our Side Hustle Saturdays. We're doing that this Saturday as well. And so those are for those individuals that do things, you know, in addition to being a licensed realtor. I know we have people that, you know, they're notaries. We have people that do hair. We have people that, you know, they paint, they do music. So once a month we get together. It's kind of like a marketplace, and we do business with one another. So we're having that Side Hustle Saturdays on this Saturday at 1 o'clock. Again, go to the Facebook business page and you should see the flyer, and you'll be able to register for that event as well. All right, with that being said, if nobody else has any questions, that will be it. I thank you all for jumping on the training. I think it was a phenomenal training. I appreciate everybody's feedback and contribution. And we look forward to seeing you guys soon. Have a good one.
Thank you.